1, 2, 3, 4.
What is up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Breakfast with Brothers.
What's up, brothers? What's up, breakfast? What's up, homies of both variety? Happy to see you guys out. Hope everyone is chilling and killing on this fine Tuesday afternoon. Well, it'll be Wednesday when you watch this, but
It'll be Wednesday when you guys watch it. Hopefully, Wednesday is just as nice as this beautiful Tuesday afternoon that Zach and I are enjoying this on.
yeah, we got some golfing weather with us this week, so no complaints to be had. Rain's coming, so we're trying to get in as much as we can early.
When is the rain coming?
Tomorrow, Thursday, thunderstorms likely. We'll see. Maybe we'll get lucky.
Let's say hopefully no rain on Friday and Saturday. So
Yeah, I think we'll be fine for the weekend. But that's aside from what today's fun is bringing. Tell them what we're talking about today, and what do we got for the people?
well, you guys might be a little bit baffled of what we're discussing today, but we're talking about the lizard people.
The lizard people? Who might they be?
What was the actual thing? It was like the let's see. It was the Reptilian Overlords. So
that's what they pretty much exist as. I mean,
yeah, I guess so. I mean, the whole concept behind like the lizard people or reptilian overlords is that they are in control of like the world's government, essentially, or governments of the world. So there's conspiracy theories kind of surrounding themselves around the idea that there are lizard people kind of in disguise as normal people running our governments, or at least like a world government of sorts controlled by the lizard people. Now, what do you think about that, Zach?
I mean, I'm imagining, since every conspiracy theory we've had so far has some sort of possibility, that this could also have some sort of possibility. This, I might believe in more than flat Earth. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. But there is a very real possibility that, and if not lizard people, in my head, I think that's just a very weak definition for these people that are facades. They're just maybe, I don't know if skinwalker's the term, but there was something that someone was talking about recently, that everyone that exists now that's in politics or positions of power or CEOs of big conglomerates, they are just shells, and then the people inside them are just actors, or in this case, lizards.
Lizards. Yeah, no, I mean, there's a lot of talk of, like, I have these pictures of, like, Joe Biden popping up, and there's, like, the certain, like, wrinkles on his neck or something look like masks, like, attached to these people.
Yeah.
I mean, in some cases, like, they have, like, side-by-side pictures of, like, the last year until now of, like, Joe Biden. I'm just using him as example. Please don't take that as anything else. But him as example, the difference between, maybe like 2, 3, 4 years ago until now is a striking difference in some of these photos. Now, is that the truth? I have no idea. Maybe he's just a really, 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 really old man, and he's gotten much more wrinklage going on. But I mean, it's even seen with like certain actors and actresses. Not only political figures, but Hollywood in that aspect.
Yep.
And I'm trying to think of other people that were tagged for it. But those are like the main things. Any government, politicians, Hollywood actors and actresses, and just certain people, I guess. I mean, and then you have the certain scenarios where it's just normal everyday people that you meet that could be as such, but you don't see or hear too much about that.
Right.
So, I mean, Could it be true? Sure. I mean, the possibility is out there. I mean, look at special effects and how far we've come nowadays. The possibility of these things.
CGI, yep.
Yeah. Yeah, on top of that, the power of AI and imagery, editing and kind of forging what the actual image is. So, I mean, sure, it's possible. It's completely possible with how things have gone today. I'm sure there's at least one person out there doing a deep fake. Maybe not necessarily a political figure or something, but it's quite possible. I wouldn't put it out of the question, that's for sure.
No, I would leave it up to stand against something. And for everyone listening, do your own research on this. But there was something I saw that I've been following along with Twitter, and I don't think it's just one guy. It's like a team of a few people, and they put together documents talking about this whole list of people that are a mix of the political figures, Hollywood's elitists, and B-list celebrities. I think made it on there too. And they're just talking about people in the past who were tried for crimes, and it's a mix of treason or like pedophilia is another big one that made the list, and then I think the other one is something crazy like murder. So these people were doing some heinous acts or whatever, and this stemmed into him showing this list of people that were found guilty on these charges, and some of them were like example, like Hillary Clinton was on the list, Barack Obama, celebrities like Tom Hanks was on there, Leonardo DiCaprio was on there, and then B-list celebrities. There were a couple big name rappers like Drake, and I think who was the other big one? Currency or something was on there. And I was just looking through their names, seeing what they were charged for, and that they had been killed. And basically killed by due process of the law in the way that was, they were sentenced to death type thing. And it came out that all these people are now existing with doppelgangers. Like in this case, for example, Tom Hanks isn't Tom Hanks. It's just a person who looks exactly like him. Or in this case, a perfect topic for the day is a lizard in that sense of the reptilian overlord vibe. Now, of course, again, do your own research. I don't know how far this actually goes, if any of it's true, but it's just one of those things that people have talked about in the background in the past for a long time now. And it's just something that I've been coming on to as far as information and what's out there. And it's just kind of like, everyone keeps talking about this. Everyone keeps talking about these strange disappearances or strange occurrences or something weird's in the water. And then it just so happens that all these big names, start getting put on this list. So, so-and-so and this amount of people are now dead. And anyone existing in their shell right now is not the original, person from that list. So, I don't know. What do you got to say about that, dude? I want to hear everything that you've ever seen in and around this topic.
Oh, I've heard a lot, but let me continue off of what you were going with some of these like deep fake topics. It reminded me of like the 26 Club, I think it is, right? Where a lot of these like rappers died at a certain age. It's just to like to hone in on one genre, I guess, of music. You look at like what is it, like Mac Miller? I think he died at 26. Who was it? XXX.
Oh yeah.
There's a couple more, but those that know what I'm talking about.
Nipsey was a little older than 26.
Yeah, well, Nipsey was a different scenario. Same with Tupac. That completely different scenario. Yeah, well, I mean, like, there's a lot of people that died at 26. Not even just in rap. I think it was also the Lizard King or Dave. I think Dave Morrison. No, not Dave Morrison. I don't know if it's Dave. Maybe I'm the Lizard King from The Doors. Jim Morrison. Sorry, Dave Morrison. I'm an idiot. Jim Morrison, the Lizard King. I think also died at 26. If I'm not mistaken, could be wrong, but his death was also mysterious. Yeah, interesting story. I don't know it off the top of my head, but for those that do know, tell people about it. It's quite interesting. For those that don't know, look into it. But a lot of these deaths happen. I think it's at 26 or 27, certain age within the 20s, that all of these like artists like died at, and not all of them, of course, just a certain handful. And there's like belief that they're still alive, that they're just, you know, in another location, essentially kept away from the public because of their popularity. That's one idea, is because they were so popular that they just wanted to get away from the popularity and to live a normal life.
Yeah.
That's one concept. Another concept is that they legitimately died at that age, and it's just very mysterious that they died all at the same age. And of course, there's a plethora of other theories on why this happened. So I implore everyone to look into the I think it's the 26 theory.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's quite strange, because then you hear about, well, not only that, then you have all this music still being released under their name, or being, you know, that they're still featured on it. Now,
Right.
of course, that could be explained as like, oh, they've recorded before everything happened. They've had this in the bank for a while. You know, it was just a recording that they threw out, and you know, they were just fooling around with back in the day, and then they just still have it.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, sometimes they've gone a little bit further than just like stuff saved in the bank, and it's like, okay, how are they still being featured on these albums? Like, I mean, we're 10 years down the line. How are they still got something recorded from them, and they've recorded, you know, they've had something on each of their albums every single time? You know, some things don't add up, but then again, we don't know for sure how that works out. Maybe they do just have that, you know, have that stuff saved.
I don't know. I will say though, the 26 Club, in this case, all those people are being played off as dead, but without someone coming and living in their place. Like in this case, XXS doesn't have some
Right.
doppelganger existing right now, and you know, he didn't actually die or anything, like that type of vibe. Like, he is dead, and everyone's accepting it as death, and that's, you know, that's that kind of thing. Like,
Right. I didn't mean to stray.
The flip side, where they're going with these other, you know, big names and elitists, where they're continually pushing their figure, but the real person is actually dead, then it would be
Right.
even crazier.
Very true. You know, I did move off topic there, so let me pull us back. So I'll get back into what I know about the lizard people, the lizard overlords, reptilian. Supposedly
yeah,
they're
say something about my lists, dude.
no, that I don't know too much about. Like, I have a concept of it, like I've heard it before. I haven't just delved into it too much. I haven't looked at lists of any sort. Just things that I come across daily, you know, either going through Twitter or doing my own research, much past Twitter, because obviously Twitter is not reliable in the sense of sources. But you see things or conspiracies within Twitter that also do provoke, you know, researching. Besides the point, I've also heard things pertaining to the reptilian overlords, and how they're actually in like cahoots with the government, working within the government, and have been for years now. I'm trying to remember the topic that focused on it, but supposedly they've been in, you know, relations with the government for quite some time now, have positions in the government, and have been, I guess it would be like helping. I don't think there's anything negative about what they're doing from what I saw and what I read. But then again, I don't know as much. I'd have to do some more research into the topic. But the fact of the matter is that they could be impersonating certain people that have passed away.
Yeah.
I mean, then you look at, what's his name? The turtle.
The turtle?
Yeah. His nickname is the Turtle, I believe, or something like that. Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, I guess he kind of looks like a Koopa Troopa. Yeah, sure.
Well, he's got you know, his one continuous neck, you know. No offense to those that enjoy Mitch McConnell, but I found most people don't enjoy Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, he's a funny looking dude.
You know, he's an interesting looking cat. I'm sure it's to some extent
he's a lizard. Is that what the moral of this story is?
I mean, he could be. You know, a lot of these politicians are pretty scary. Scary looking, I should say. I mean, I guess they could be scary in definition as well. but a lot of them are scary looking, and you begin to wonder, like, are they real?
I mean, these people all are just mostly existing. At this point, I feel like they have way too much money to be able to, well, fathom anything anymore. I'm sure pain to them is nothing. Financial loss obviously isn't real to them. I'm
Right.
sure any emotional damage comes at the cost of, I can't even say love. That probably doesn't exist to them. All they know is money and food and
Power.
sex and drugs. That's it. That's pretty much all they got. And yeah, power itself. Minus the, yeah. I mean, I guess sex, but in the worst way. Because a lot of these guys are, watching counts on counts on counts of, diddling with little kiddos. But we'll save that topic for another day. On lizards, I was going to channel that conversation into the Illuminati and talk about, maybe that has something to do with the possibility of all these lizards. Because everyone's always talking about secret societies. Everyone's always talking about, the sleight of hand, hiding things in their sleeves and stuff that's behind the scenes and things like that. So I can't say for sure that the Illuminati is just spawning lizards. But as far as sacrifices go and people doing silly things in public, to become members of something like that, an organization that exists for the certain amount of people in the world that can only enter, this number of dollars they make, this number of followers they have on their socials, this number of connections they have in so and so. And I'm sure the
Right.
list goes on and on. But that's all to say that the Illuminati may have something to do with reptiles.
That's a very good point. I mean, I guess there's a good chance that they could. We truthfully don't know too much about the world order of the Illuminati. You hear it mentioned a lot, and I know I hear it a lot in like Kendrick's music. He talks of it, at least in a couple of his songs. He'll mention it. So leads me to wonder if he is a member or if he's going against it and speaking out against it. Truthfully, we don't know. I mean, the way he phrases it, he speaks out against it. But that's just one example that I hear most times listening to my music. But it's interesting because then, like within the Illuminati, then you have to think about Scientology. Is that a connection to it? Because now you have normal people that are Scientologists,
Yep.
but you also have a lot of actors and actresses that are Scientologists.
Mm.
Now, I don't know too much within a political standpoint if our politicians are Scientologists as well. But one begins to wonder they probably are if a lot of these A-list celebrities are stating that they're Scientology. I believe Tom Hanks is one. I believe Tom Cruise is also one. Those are the two that I can name right off the top of my head right now. But look into it because there's a lot of actors and actresses that claim to be Scientologists.
Scientologist being,
What do you mean, like the, as in like what it is? Let me pull up a definition as to not butcher it, because Scientology, it's essentially considered a cult, really. So let's see. Scientology is a set of beliefs and practices invented by the American author L. Ron Hubbard.
L. Ron. L.
And,
Ron Hoya Bembe.
Turn that poop into wine. And an associated movement. It is variously defined as a cult, a business, a religion, a scam, or a new religious movement. Hubbard initially developed a set of ideas that he called Dianetics, which he represented as a form of therapy. Let me see if I can find at least their basic beliefs. So Scientology describes itself as the study and handling of the spirit in relationship to itself, others, and all of life. Scientologists also believe that people have innate yet suppressed power and ability, which can be regained if cleared of unwanted behavioral patterns and discomforts.
What? Okay.
Yeah, I always found there's always different understandings of Scientology whenever you look it up.
So they're a bunch of cultists. That's basically what's going on. They're experts
Pretty
in starting
much.
clubs with only them and sacrificing each other and maybe being cannibals? I don't know. Maybe that's thrown in there just for shits and giggles.
See, like here's another belief. Scientologists believe that people are immortal alien beings called Thetans or Thetans who have forgotten their true nature and are trapped on Earth in a human body. Scientologists believe that each Thetan has lived numerous past lives, both on Earth, in our physical bodies, and on other planets.
So honestly,
Seems a little suspicious.
that definition right there makes me take reptilian overlord and what it means to a whole new dimension. Because now
Right.
in this case, when I think of reptiles, I think of snakes. And immediately when I think of snakes in its second meaning, not the animal, I think of people who are rats, people who are untrustworthy, people who are happy to spill secrets, people who are happy to stir drama. Now, reptilian overlord, I'm assuming that these people who just claim to be Scientologists, the A-list celebrities, the elitists, the politicians, they exist only to stir the pot, only to cause drama, only, and the list can go on of bad news. And in that sense, they don't have to necessarily be reptiles. They don't have to have scales on their back. They don't have to exist as lizards. They don't have to slither and squirm their way through places. They exist as reptiles because of the way they operate. That's maybe now what I'm thinking about is how they're more reptilian. They're emotionless. They act on pure instinct that would favor them and their family. I'm sure in this case, they could be the most selfish human beings ever. They are happy to stomp on anyone in their way to get ahead, to get to the next level. So maybe that's how we should look at it, dude. That reptilian overlords aren't lizards. They just act like them, dude. They're just existing as an act. That's it.
Well, I think it really kind of goes in hand with the idea of like a deep fake. I think of snakes as like fake people in the secondary meaning.
Yeah.
Someone who puts up essentially a facade of a character that they actually, they aren't really showing to us. They're not showing their true character.
Sure.
So I quickly pulled up the reptilian conspiracy theory just to have kind of a solid definition of what the basis of it all was, just so we can have a true idea. So reptilians, also called reptoids, archons, reptilioids, saurians, draconians, or lizard people, are supposed reptilian humanoids which play a prominent role in fantasy science fiction, ufology, and conspiracy theories. The idea of reptilians was popularized by David Icke, an anti-Semitic conspiracy theorist. We don't claim to be anti-Semitic, so please don't take that into account. Who claims shape-shifting reptilian aliens control Earth by taking on human form and gaining political power to manipulate human societies. Icke has stated on multiple occasions that many world leaders are or are possessed by so-called reptilians. Some conspiracy theorists espousing the extraterrestrial hypotheses claim they either come from the Draco constellation or the Orion constellation, or are allies with nefarious extraterrestrials from the Orion constellation. Others claim that they are interdimensional, coming from another universe or dimension. Now, I got both information, from Scientology and this from Wikipedia, just to have that in there. It's just what the articles give. With most conspiracy theories, it's usually based or written by someone within Wikipedia. So give what you will with that, and take, obviously, what you believe. So definitely interesting that, people think they're completely, obviously they would be some sort of extraterrestrial in comparison to our own human beings. But it's interesting that they're coming from the Draco constellation or the Orion constellation, and that when those areas of the universe. That's a kind of an interesting theory.
I mean, I guess if we exist in the thought a couple episodes back when we were saying that aliens are real, like extraterrestrials could exist and the possibility of them is out there. In this case, this is the same thing. These reptiles are just, in my head now, just alien life forms. That's all they exist as. And in this case, they might be able to shapeshift. Now, I wasn't getting on that path when we were talking about aliens a couple episodes back. But in this case, in speaking on people who are overlords and trying to create this new world order, I guess it wouldn't necessarily surprise me if there were some type of life forms that were trying to play a part in manipulating our system. Now, of course, it's a very long shot. I'm not trying to say that this is fact or anything like that. But in talking about what we thought on aliens a couple episodes back moves us right into now. Basically looking at reptiles. They don't necessarily have to just be like human snakes. They could also be aliens. I mean, because you listed off how many names. It sounds like it doesn't have to be a human derived from a snake entity. It could just be a extraterrestrial life form that now has something like mind control abilities or telekinetic capabilities, or, well, I know shape-shifting is a long shot. I mean, but we also have chameleons that walk the earth and they could change colors. So, I mean, it's not too many steps from there, to think that someone could just do a little bit of, face altering to, change expression and emotion. The body altering isn't a huge thing. I'm sure extraterrestrials are in some shape and form similar to how we're made up. 2 arms, 2 legs, torso, that type of thing.
Yeah. As I say, I mean, it's truly not. I mean, it's hard to say it's not too far-fetched, and in some cases, one might believe it to be far-fetched because of the topics of which we're discussing. Obviously, These are all conspiracy theories for a reason because they're pretty far-thinking.
Right. But we're also trying to reason through the people who are solidified in these beliefs,
Right. And, it's definitely not as wild as you might believe it to be, because it very much could be true, and it's just something that you don't see daily, or you don't experience daily. I mean, for the case in point, right now I'm back home living in country, and there's not really much that goes on, but who knows what would go on in a bigger city, such as like New York City or Detroit or Cincinnati or Miami, Tampa, Orlando, whatever, bigger cities in general, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Washington, D.C. for that matter. Any of these cities, any of these larger cities that are populated, there could be millions of things going on because of the mass amount of people within it. Sure, there's still things that can go on in small towns. Of course, that's I'm not putting that out of the point, but point is that there's so much that goes on that we just don't know what could possibly be out there. So, truthfully, having an open mind to these things will probably help you in the long run. I'm not saying believe in them, but at least put thought behind them and kind of look into it, because you might interest yourself, or you might find something that you're like, wow, that makes sense.
Well, right. I mean, I'm in thinking about this. All of these exist as conspiracy theories until proven true. I mean, just a little over a year ago now, people were going through their whole conspiracy with the vaccines, and not that I want to get on a hot and heavy topic, but things came out in post, that people said were conspiracy, but in truth, everything came out that, proved this, that, and the other into true light. Now, again, I'm not going to, talk about that topic, whatever, but people were getting called conspiracy theorists, and that they were stretching the truth, and they were trying way too hard to say this, that, and the other, but it was only a conspiracy theory until fact came out that proved otherwise. Now, this is something that, again, we've already said a couple times now, it might be very far-fetched. It might be, it's too far off of being able to come back around. And with that whole list that we have, maybe still in store for more episodes, but that we've already talked on, with the moon, with aliens, all these things just exist up until something will come out that could show us otherwise. So, like Ian said, keep your mind open, keep it sharp, also keep your eyes open, because everything around us is becoming more and more fake. Things are changing daily, and events happen in the blink of an eye. Lightning flashes faster than that. So just be wary.
Yeah, no, not to touch too far back, it's definitely, things happen daily and things change constantly, and really you should truthfully listen to both sides, and that's what most people find issue with today. They believe everything initially right off the get-go. So, and then they're the ones to kind of say, well, that's never possible with some of these conspiracy theories. Yeah. And even in some cases, like you gave up about, certain things that happened in the last couple of years. Again, we won't get into it, but these things came out to be true. A lot of these things were happening. And a lot of people immediately believed that, immediately believe the first fact they were given instead of listening to both sides and seeing what affects what, so on and so forth.
Right.
It's quite honestly something that people need to look towards as well. I need to look at both viewpoints. I need to look at both sides of things to understand the possibility of what's been going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's the hardest thing for most people, and I get it. It's difficult because you want to believe that someone's doing right by you, but you have to believe the positive and the negatives as well. You have to look towards the negatives of things most times just to see what is the actual positive.
Well said.
Yeah, thank you. But I think on that note, we've kind of talked a little bit about lizard people and kind of went off a little bit on some tangents, but that's okay. We kind of discussed the overall object and objective of everything going on. So let's wrap it up for today. So thank you all so much for tuning in. As per usual, check us out on YouTube. If you're listening over there, check us out on Spotify. If you're listening on Spotify, check us out on YouTube. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll catch you guys on the flippy flop. So peace out until next time.